Greetings, brothers and sisters. Professor Spira here, coming to you live from this undisclosed tropical paradise. And in this video, I wanted to talk about something that I haven't addressed in a long time, or at least dedicated an individual video to, which is dealing with social dynamics, social troubles when getting into the Mucusless Diet Healing System, or any of these, really any of this self-improvement. When you're changing your diet on this level, you're gonna have complications with loved ones and friends and family, and trying to navigate all that stuff can be very challenging. And I can basically tell you what a number of people that I know did. I can tell you what I did, but from the get-go, I can tell you this is gonna be something that will be your test. So you can study what other people have done and try to find what works for you. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to address this issue. And I suggest, addressing it head on. After you hear what I have to say and look at what other people have done, you have to make a decision as to how you are going to do that. How you're going to deal with that situation. And I'm talking about things like, okay, you start practicing Mucusless diet and you're really, trying to get it together, and it's challenging. Then you get a phone call from somebody saying, hey, why don't you, come out to this restaurant with us, or we're going out for drinks, and, why don't you come hang out with us? Then at that moment, you have to make a decision. Are you going to put yourself in a position where you open yourself up to potentially relapsing back, or if it's real early on, you haven't even been off of the drugs long enough, pus and mucus and drinking and smoking, you might not have been off of that stuff long enough to even relapse, to call it a relapse. You have a decision that you have to make. And the framing that I put this is a revolutionary diet and a revolutionary lifestyle. Now, a lot of people that get into it, they don't get into it as revolutionaries. That's not who that might not be who they are, where their personality. They're being called to do something that happens to be the most revolutionary thing that you can do in this day and age. Is change your diet on this level is the most revolutionary thing you can do. I don't care what government you think you're going to overthrow, or this, or change in that, or change your physiology. First and foremost, most revolutionary thing you can do. But a lot of people that they don't necessarily have that kind of, that goal, where a lot of us did. I was someone that was not happy with the problems of society, the inequity, the brutality. I'm not gonna go along with it and act like everything's fine just because I might have been privileged to be in a situation where I don't have to experience all of it. You got to experience some of it. Just where I'm at. I'm just thinking of a time when I during my travels, to get to this tropical paradise, I was in a parking lot, just walking into a store, and some idiot yelled out of his car. What'd he say? He's like, what you looking at? I mean, I was looking forward. I wasn't looking at. And I'm like, what? And I turned my head. It's like, yeah, boy, what you looking at? I just walked into the store. But that's United States of America. A lot of people don't. If you don't have a particular skin tone like me, or darker, or a little lighter than me, you don't know what you don't know that experience of, like at any time you could be walking around and somebody's gonna threaten you or make you feel like you don't belong here. So I come out of that where like I'm ready to take this whole thing apart, this revolutionary mindset. So now you're being called to be a revolutionary. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna fall in line and just go, I'll go to this restaurant with you, I'll go drink, go to the movies, and it's been a couple months, maybe I'll have a little popcorn and butter, or are you gonna be revolutionary minded and with that attitude and be like, sorry, I can't do it? Or if you decide to go, that's a tough one. I tend to not recommend that people try to do the willpower thing, because you don't have control of that. You have less control of, put it like this, you have more conscious control over saying, no, I won't go. No, thank you. Real polite. You have way more control at that moment than you will have if you put yourself in the position down the road to where now you're surrounded by people and here's these drugs and these foods and this stuff is and you're expected to partake. Now you're gonna be uncomfortable. So you're either gonna be uncomfortable in the environment if you resist it, is you're either gonna do, really one of several things. You're going to just succumb and you get into the environment and you say, it's just one night and take part in whatever's going on. You get there and you try to resist, and now if you're trying to avoid feeling uncomfortable, it's even more uncomfortable now because people are trying to say, hey man, what's your problem? Just you ain't been doing that long, come on, just come on with it. Or you can be uncomfortable for a moment as you politely say, no, I don't think I can make it. I think it makes sense to deal with the point where you have the most control, and you have the most control at that point when you decide to go or not to go. And I know that's not something that everybody wants to hear. People want to know, but like, well, I don't want to give up my social life and I don't want to do this and my family and all that kind of stuff. And all I can say is that this is revolutionary. You are, whether you like it or not. If you want to be healthy and you want to heal yourself and you want to go down this path, you have to be a revolutionary. You've been handed that opportunity. And it's up to you if you accept it or not. Study the great revolutionaries. I'm a big fan of Harriet Tubman. And when you're talking about someone that just total fearlessness, just unimaginable. She's one of the only people in history that I would give sainthood, that get that type of what people reserve for this concept of a saint. She's the only one I'd give that to. Just wow. I just so impressed. And if you don't know what she did, then read up on what she did. And it was something like 12 times. Wasn't it? She'd have been great if she did it once or twice, but multiple times she saved slaves going back down to the south and leading them to the north to where they were a little bit safer, where they could have a little bit more liberty. That's the mentality we gotta have. Because that's the way I look at it. If Harriet Tubman had the courage to have bloodhounds on her tail, an entire segment of the population wanting her dead or alive. People make a lot of money if they were to capture her dead or alive. You are the most wanted person in the country, and you don't stop. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, who's got that kind of courage? And you want to complain, you don't have enough courage to tell somebody, no, I don't want to go to the bar with you. I don't want to. What about that? You know, I mean, just all these examples, man, of, you know, people that put themselves, their bodies on the line, their lives on the line, and in some cases were killed for what they believed in. A level of fearlessness where even if they were scared, they said, whatever, you know, I'm a do this. And you can't find the courage to, you know, to stay out of the bars for a while, you know, until your addiction is gone. Stay out of the restaurants until your addiction is gone. And I always say restaurants, you know, I went years without going into restaurants. Now, in recent times, I've been to a couple restaurants. Then I've talked about that. So you see me at a restaurant, be like, Professor Spira. Like, nah, I told you, there's a couple vegan spots, a couple places that I go, or maybe if a decent salad bar. But the reason that I particularly didn't do it personally for years, I didn't eat at a restaurant for over 15 years, was because I knew that addiction that I got to pus and mucus forming foods, when I put myself in that position and I'm looking at that menu, in my mind, it's you know, it's coming back. It's like, yeah, why don't you try that? See what that does now, or you know, eat that. You know, that it's that same kind of experience that alcoholics have described, to where a lot of them can't ever go back into bars. They just, I'm an alcoholic. If I go in that environment, I can't deal with it. Then some of them, after years and years, they're able to go into those environments and they're aware that they're addicts, but they have enough enough progress has been made to where they know they're not going to fall off the wagon. And so my advice is to don't put yourself in those kind of situations where you might fall off the wagon, and you don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be really uncomfortable unless you have to. There are certain social circumstances where you got to go. You got to, you know, I mean, you don't have to do anything, you know, unless someone's got a gun to your head. But socially speaking, you know, there's certain loved ones, you know, funerals, or there's some things that you're gonna have to deal with that you'll have, you know, but there's some stuff that you don't have to deal with. You don't have to go to the holiday cookout or the holiday whatever feast kind of stuff. You know, you don't have to, you know, yeah, that kind of stuff. You know, there's a number of things that you have control over. So my main message for this is deal with being a revolutionary. Like, accept that, and look into what that means. If you're not really into, like I said, I was into it. You know, I'd studied. I was, you know, a big influence on me was reading autobiography of Malcolm X. A lot of the musicians that I look up to and study were very revolutionary within the medium of music and using music to elicit social change, sometimes unconsciously. There's a number of musicians whose music that I really admire and love that were some of the most revolutionary musicians ever, and they weren't trying to be revolutionaries. That, like, in their head, that wasn't their goal. was to be revolutionaries, but they ended up having the most revolutionary music ever. You know, people, John Coltrane is who I'm thinking of. So think about that. What does your ancestors do to get you to where you're at? You know, invoke the ancestors. The strength of the ancestors will help you with some of these, in my opinion, you know, what can help you when you are considering these things, which I understand is tough. The social dynamics are tough. Everybody has to deal with it a different way. So I'm not telling you how to deal with it. I'm submitting to you that this is a revolutionary lifestyle, and part of being a revolutionary is being sometimes being at odds with, you know, things not being comfortable, or when you're around other people that either don't want you doing what you're doing is making them feel uncomfortable, it's making them think, you know, whatever it is. But in those moments, you're being a revolutionary. So thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please share it, because YouTube is acting a fool. They don't want to share this information with a lot of people. I don't know, there's some kind of insect over there that's super loud. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so please like and subscribe. All that stuff helps. It all helps. If you're interested in really getting deep into the Mucusless Diet Healing System, check out the Mucusless Diet Healing System e-course. Link is down below. Most comprehensive course. If you just want to spend, okay, I'm going to spend some time and learn as much as I can about the Mucusless Diet Healing System and go way deeper than what's just in the book, check out the Mucusless Diet Healing System e-course. And keep on transitioning. Transition, then transition some more. And until next time, peace, love, and breath.